Water equity should be a top priority for the water sector, as water is a common good, and every citizen, irregardless of social position, income, race, should have access to clean, affordable drinking water and wastewater services.
There have been years of neglect and disinvestment in infrastructure, and there are people who are going to be burdened with the cost of bringing this infrastructure up to date who really can't afford it.
Time and again, we see that concerns around water affordability, water quality, the impacts of climate change, and lack of representation in the water workforce affect Black and Indigenous communities and low-income communities and other communities of color disproportionately in relation to more affluent and white communities in the United States. These are water equity issues. And if we perpetuate those conditions and these inequities, then we are sacrificing our nation's public health and also the quality of life for communities across the nation. The Water Equity Network is the only nationwide cross-sector community of practice focused on advancing water equity. The U.S. Water Alliance facilitates and convenes folks at the local and regional level to address their most pressing water equity issues and to address them in a really concrete and substantive way, and then to also elevate the best practices to the nation.
We joined the U.S. Water Alliance and the Water Equity Network as we were the seventh of the original 6 members. And at that point in Pittsburgh, there were several organizations and networks of folks talking about water and the challenges that we were facing in Pittsburgh. But there was no idea or no conception of water equity.
The Water Equity Network is amazing. It started out with 7 organizations. In less than 4 years, there's now more than 40, which is absolutely incredible. But I think it's important to continue that growth so that we literally have every scope of organization, size of organization represented so that we literally and truly have all voices at the table. Because with all the voices, we're going to really be able to move forward in helping those most vulnerable customers and, again, get to that, equity for all.
So as members of the U.S. Water Alliance, we know that there's really just one water, whether we're talking about drinking water, sewer, stormwater, flooding issues. All of the solutions need to be applied equitably for this really essential resource that we have. And if you're not approaching it equitably, the solutions are not going to be able to serve every customer, every citizen of this country. And for us, really, we're looking to maybe right some of the wrongs that we as utilities or we as governments have unfortunately made over time. So equity is a core facet now of our values as a utility, and that's something that we have heavily borrowed from the Alliance in this network.
One of the things that really drew us to joining the Water Equity Network was seeing the other peer cities there to say, hey, what are you guys doing? And these are cities that we had heard of, Buffalo being a smaller city, cities like Atlanta. And they say, hey, we want to be with them and we want to make sure that we're being ahead of the game as it relates to water equity and that work that is out there.
We joined the Water Equity Network because we wanted to learn and also share best practices about community engagement, water quality policies, and also project prioritization with other similar organizations.
I've been kind of in this, let me say I've been on this earth a long time. And I'm familiar with systems, I'm familiar with frameworks, and I believe that this network idea regarding water is one of the best that I've seen.
I think joining the Water Equity Network is a no-brainer, whether you're an advocate or a utility partner. The relationships that you build in this network are essential to changing the way that you see issues, the way that you address issues. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to be a part of it.
It's fun. We make topics that are hard to wrap your minds around, easier to digest, easier to access, and we're not exclusive, right? There is an opportunity for anyone who's interested in this work to become a leader. And I think that that's what we need in movements to sort of break down the silos that have limited us previously.
This is really the time to join the Water Equity Network because the interest in advancing the 3 pillars of water equity is greater now than it's ever been. We're seeing partners from water utilities across the country. We're seeing community partners step up. We're seeing philanthropy want to get engaged. People are really seeking action and results on the ground. And the Water Equity Network is the place where people can come together and share best practices and learn about what's working. So it's really a network of practitioners that are trying to have impact in place.